from 0 to 6,000 in 6 months. Thank you to everyone who played a part. Hi, it's Lee here, and as we approach the end of 2025, I'm taking a moment to reflect on the journey that the Level Up Leadership podcast has been on. Level Up started at the beginning of the year as just a simple LinkedIn page. It was just somewhere for me to post articles. Really, it was just a backdrop to my coaching work. Writing has never been my strongest suit and has never been my passion, so it quickly evolved into audio uploads, which became a podcast and then eventually interview podcasts. The podcast chapter of this journey started in June. Like many new endeavours, it started very slowly, single figures for viewing and listens. It started to build over time, and in the last 2 to 3 months it's exploded. All of a sudden I've looked back and we have 6,000 views across our platforms. That's Spotify, YouTube, Substack, LinkedIn and a few other smaller places, not to mention some TikTok shorts more recently as well. I would love to do more and I'd love to move faster, but this still remains a passion project for me in my spare time, so I'm taking it 1 week at a time and doing what I can. Along the way, I've had lots of help and support, and I wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who's listened and watched. Thank you to all of my guests who've come onto the podcast. And thank you for my friends and colleagues who've supported by shouting from the sidelines, liking or sharing, or just generally giving me good advice and encouragement. I think a special mention, of course, goes out to the guests. We had Tamara Myles on the podcast talking about meaningful work. We had Jon Rosemberg telling us how to get from survival mode back into thriving mode. We had Fred Miller talking about the importance of unleashing agency and being a leader that people can see and engage with. We had Jennifer Riel talking about integrative decision making and how to get the best of both worlds. We had Mercedes Martin talking about the hyphenated experience of leaders being pulled in many directions. We had Chris March talking about how he pivoted into leadership coaching and giving us a refreshing approach to simplifying how we think about leadership. We had the award-winning broadcaster Ian Stringer giving us a masterclass on presentations and public speaking. And we finished the year by talking to Nick Shackleton-Jones, helping us all to support our staff better on their learning and development journeys by moving from courses to resources and giving people the information they need when they need it. Each guest has brought their own unique perspective. What's also apparent though is the many commonalities across the leadership landscape. The need to encourage and support people to have a sense of agency. That resonates with the first solo podcast episode I ever produced called Act Like You Own It. If you haven't heard it yet, I suggest you go back into the archives. It was the first podcast episode I produced for a reason. It's one of the biggest areas that I believe we need to work on as leaders and as individuals. Looking ahead to 2026, we already have our first guest booked and more in the pipeline. There's going to be a stronger focus on AI, not just because my book's coming out on AI in February, quick plug there, don't forget to check out Enhanced Leadership, but also because AI is such a hot topic. It's really going to shape the leadership landscape in 2026. So watch this space for more on that. Whether you listen on Spotify or watch on YouTube, or whether you've checked out our main hub on levelupleadership.uk, that's all one word, levelupleadership.uk, I hope you like the podcast and articles. Please hit the thumbs up to like and subscribe. Please share it widely and rate and review the podcast. It really does help. Thank you again. I hope you all have a happy, healthy and fabulous 2026.